What is up, everybody? So I've been wanting to update you guys on the X3M and the X5M for a while. The X5M, unfortunately, I had a problem with the car. So obviously I took it over to Dynamic BMW. On my way currently there to go swap the cars. So the X3M is going to go in for some EBC brake pads. I will let you know how that is in the future. And maybe some catless downpipes are getting installed. I have them there, but I don't know if Chad has time to install them. So that's one thing. But as far as the X5M, I'm going to let Chad do all the explaining of what really happened to my X5M. It was kind of a clusterfuck, if you will, on some stuff. So I'm going to let him talk about that. But let's go to Dynamic BMW here in Huntley, Illinois. That's one red nightmare if I've ever seen one.
It is a complete nightmare of red. And now it's even better. Better than before.
I miss that car. I miss
better than ever. Look at those brakes.
Yeah, I've been
and
wanting
wheels.
to see that.
Hot. Sexy.
So we got both beasts.
Wait, do you see something new?
See what it is.
Do you see something new?
I love that. I love that. Who is that?
That's Mark. Mark the giraffe.
Mark, are you a giraffe now?
Small one.
Small giraffe. Yeah, Mark thought he was tall until he saw me. Mark, you're 6'3"? Oh, 6'4". Okay, I was almost right there.
6'4", and Sean makes him look like he's tiny. Thanks, Mark. Mark the man.
How did it drive? Did it break?
Nah.
Not yet?
We're okay. I'll let you break it.
There you go.
Didn't break? All right, so we got new brakes, brake pads and rotors. I got OEM pads. I don't know if I'm gonna bite myself and ask for that. Because OEM brake pads love to squeal.
They love to squeal, but they are truck passing by. They are of good quality. I mean, really, OEM is the best because they put them on these cars brand new, right? Yep. When I was a technician coming into BMW, I had my lead tech that was training me. He told me if there was something better, then BMW and their finely paid engineers would have put it on the car new.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And they charge a lot of money for these because they're great. I know that there's more performance parts out there that will minimize dust, etc., like the reds.
And the power stops, too.
Correct.
But those don't bite.
You know, you have trade-offs with everything. So we went OEM on this one.
So I heard this car was a mess for you, so I'm gonna briefly talk about why I brought this car in. So I brought this car in 2 weeks ago. I was gonna go in for brake pads and rotors, and then it was a completely different
We got a train coming too.
Oh yeah.
Honk honk! That's
it's
like
not this busy ass road noise, it's a train.
That's like when Sean rolls through a car meet. He's like the train.
I am
just
the
doesn't
freight
stop.
train. These two M trucks.
I think we're good now.
Have two M cars, they said. It would be fun, they said.
It would be fun. It'd be fun to own two.
Yes. So this car was, long story short, it was shaking, and I thought it was the brake rotors just going out of place, and it was not that. And then I was fueling up at Costco, got a drivetrain malfunction light on, and it like tuned the car like I was on E85 when I wasn't even on E85 at the time. So I turned it off, thank God the light went off, drove it home carefully. I called Chad and he said just drive it on up here, but I was like, Chad, I don't like the way this is feeling.
I usually don't do that. I'm usually like, be safe, tow it in.
Yes.
But knowing Sean, he was just being extra precautious.
And I'm glad I did.
We had a drivetrain malfunction, it went away, but then it didn't. So yeah, it's a good thing you towed it in.
We're gonna talk about all what happened to this car briefly. So you wanna bring us into the shop and show us what happened?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Let's go.
All right, so we are going to the content corner. Content corner here at Dynamic.
Content corner is getting a facelift per Sean's recommendations. So
I was like, Chad, the floor looks a little harsh.
You know what? We work here though, right? As my wife says, this is not a museum. This is lived in when we're talking about our house. And she's right. So this is worked in. We work a lot of hours here.
Yes.
And we get our use out of it.
Hours, there was a lot of hours that went into this red night.
Yeah, do you want to be specific on how many hours we put into this car?
Should I tell them?
Yeah, but you got to add like 4 now.
Was it really 4 on top? Oh my god.
It was like 4 on top.
All right, so 29 hours went into this red nightmare. Am I right?
Yeah, this time.
Oh my gosh, this time. I don't like the way you said that.
29 hours. Okay, no, but it was good. It was a nice experience. So the first thing that we had was, let's go into transfer case. So do you want to turn that off?
Yeah.
All right, so the first thing, let's go into the transfer case. The vibration and or the instability that Sean was feeling was coming from the drivetrain. It wasn't actually coming from the engine. So on acceleration was the worst. It literally felt like the bottom of this car was hopping. It was just shaking in the seat of your pants all over the car. He was not kidding. There you go. Coming from the transfer case.
Yep.
So here's what you have in your drivetrain. You have engine, you have transfer, you have engine, you have transmission, you have transfer case, you have drive shaft, rear differential, rear wheels, right?
Wait, you forgot the Guibo.
And then you also have the front drive shaft, which goes through the front differential, which goes to the outdrives to the wheels.
All right. So the first thing you talked about that went wrong with this car was these two fun guys.
So Guibos, right? Guibo goes here. It attaches to the flange, right, on the back of the transfer case. This flange
It's supposed to have a little nipple.
and the Guibo, it's gonna go like that, right?
And I had no idea what a Guibo was when Chad told me about it. I had no idea. I thought he was actually making up that word. And every person I've talked to, they're like, "What's wrong with their car?" And I was like, "It was a Guibo." Everyone thinks that's a made-up name.
I don't know who made this up, but it's
Yeah.
a rubber drive shaft joint. So this joint is responsible for connecting the drive shaft to the output flange of the transfer case. And if you don't have an all-wheel drive car, it connects it to the transmission. Guibo goes bad, what happens is it cracks and it flexes in a way. So this is the output shaft of the transfer case. It's supposed to have like a
Nipple.
nipple, like a tit, like
So there's a flange right there and then the nipple, right? Or is just the nipple?
so the flange goes like that.
Oh, okay, so the nipple.
And then this nipple comes up to here, and that is basically a centering nipple that connects it to your drive shaft, right? So what happened is when this got all flimsy-whimsy, it bent and broke bolts.
Yeah, those things are gone. Let's just say my car has a lot of torque.
Lots of torque, man. So you were definitely getting on this mofo, as I would. But when that happens, it creates an uneven balance, right, in here. And it does this. And that broke the shaft on the transfer case. And this was wobbling to the point where it was only held on by 2 bent bolts. The other one broke. Taking out the drive shaft, the transfer case, and that Guibo, obviously, with the hardware. So long story short, we got a new used transfer case. Since this was built by Pure and has Pure's clutches, okay, it's a set of 10. We have clutches and discs. So inside of the transfer case, you have a mechanism that either spreads these apart or clamps them together to engage the torque, right? So we wanted those good clutches from Pure into this donor transfer case. So we swapped everything out and we got a new flange, and we also got this new output shaft gear in your transfer case.
Why we had to get a used transfer case?
Well, because the new one's like $2,800.
No.
Because
The nipple.
Yeah, because of this nipple.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the whole reason we had to get a used one.
Correct.
Which is a pain in the ass. But this car has been a mess, and Chad fixed every little issue.
So if this would have let loose, which was a mile down the road, it could have been a mile down the road, right? Then that drive shaft acts unstable, and that drive shaft would have spun around like this at 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, and it would have taken out the tunnel.
Taking out a lot.
It could have taken
Rear
out
diff,
a lot.
Right?
No, I don't think it. I could have taken out the rear diff, yeah, but I think the drive shaft would have exploded first.
Gotcha. And then you also found out some stuff about the high pressure fuel pumps.
So there were high pressure faults stored in the system, and now Sean's car is tuned by Nostrum. He has full E85. He also has a 93 tune. You're doing what, 707 from the wheel on the dyno?
Wheel, yeah.
And that's a lot of power. So your normal diagnosis for a stock car that is not modified would look different than that of a modified car. So we had fuel pressure faults. We did diagnose those back to high pressure fuel sensors. There's 2 on this car. It's a V8 S63. So we did replace those 2 sensors. They are reading correctly.
That's awesome.
That could be of cause to what I'm going to show you next, which is your spark plugs, but we were getting some random misfires.
I wasn't going to have Chad do the spark plugs, but he's like, hey, since the car's here, do we need to do anything else? And I was like, I haven't done spark plugs in a long time.
Yep, good call, Sean. So as you can see, like cylinder number 8, you want to zoom in on that?
Yeah.
That one looks good.
So just for records, I did replace my spark plugs when I got the car around 61,000 miles. Actually, it was less, but 61,000 miles we had to replace, and the car is at 77, just hit 77,000 miles.
So this is cylinder 6. As you can see, this electrode is burnt.
So yeah, it's burnt, and then we got some bridges. Where are those bridges?
And then the bridging, I think I cleared a couple of them out.
Okay.
This one was
Yeah,
here.
Chad doesn't like bridges, so I wouldn't be surprised.
So the bridging on the spark plugs is just due to a combustion process where it actually will melt particles of the combustion process to the area between the ground and the center electrode here. Don't zoom in too much on my lips.
I was trying to.
And that'll cause some bridging, which shorts out the plug. And these, we had 2 of them that were bridging, and then this one is getting to the point where it is melting. So
That's always fun.
That was a hot cylinder.
So it was a good thing I asked to do this, probably.
Yeah, and I mean, looking forward, you know, like your doctor would say, we want to see you back in a certain period of time. So I'd give it 500 to 1,000 miles. Let's see if the misfiring gets any better. We're going to want to pull that spark plug back out and check it. Just to make sure that that cylinder is not running lean. There's nothing wrong with the injector, the fuel going into that cylinder, etc. But as of right now, we're driving the car. Everything's smooth. No faults were being stored. We've got some a level sensor that we replaced. We had.
This has been a bitch to track down the issue for us.
So we tried to epoxy, and you see that epoxying the plastic doesn't really work. So you just need to replace these. They come with the arm, so you got to buy the sensor and you get the arm for free, or you buy the arm and you get the sensor for free. So whatever the deal that BMW is giving you is such a great deal. And then these rear leveling links,
I've seen some better days.
This should move freely in here, and you can see how stiff and
it's like me in the morning.
How stiff this rod is. So this thing has some morning wood, and we needed to replace that with some nice lubricated flaccid meat.
So we did a lot of stuff.
Yeah. That's it.
You sure?
I don't know, what else did we do?
We did a new Guibo.
Oh yeah, new Guibos are on there, that's for sure. New drive shaft.
New drive shaft.
The center bearing was replaced with the new drive shaft.
I'm sure there was a transfer case fluid swap.
Yep,
sure
new transfer case fluid.
With C4 Skittles.
Yep, with a lot of C4.
And tears.
I like your t-shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
This is the best t-shirt ever.
That.
Will you show them the back? What it looks like on the back?
I want to show them the back.
Let's look at the camera.
Okay, yep. Sponsor it out. Look at that. Look at that wingspan.
And it's 2XL tall.
What is your wingspan?
7 feet tall. Isn't that crazy?
It's 7 feet and
Bigger
7
than
feet?
Michael Phelps.
You're 100% proportioned?
Yes.
What is Michael Phelps's?
6'8", and he's 6'8".
Oh, and he's 6'8"? Is he
Yeah.
really that tall? No
Yeah.
wonder why he swims like a freaking whale.
That's why he's the best swimmer, so you got some
Holy
competition.
crap, man. Oh, you ever thought about being a swimmer?
I would love it, but it's a lot of cardio.
Yeah.
I love the water and swimming, but it's a lot of cardio.
It's crazy.
It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Thank you, Chad.
You're quite welcome.
Glad you're this. I'm sure you're glad this is out of the shop.
The red nightmare is going to
Yes.
cause more nightmares on the road.
Seriously.
In a
It's
good
gonna
way.
beat up some Trackhawks and a bunch of other cars.
Watch out, Trackhawks.
No G80s though.
definitely.
GTs will be smoking me.
Maybe some G80s.
Yeah.
You'll eat some G80s.
All right, you guys, so that was a lot to take in. A lot of stuff happened on this X5M very fastly. This car does have a shitload of torque. It is currently raining, so a little wet. The car has a lot of torque, and I knew that getting into this platform. You know, I upgraded the front drive shaft. I also upgraded the transfer case to handle all this power, but I didn't know about the Guibos. So the Guibos, you know, are rubber. You need to replace those, keep on the maintenance on point. So this car is a lot of fun to drive, but it is expensive to maintain and have it in your arsenal, just so you know. But huge shout out to Dynamic BMW here in Huntley, Illinois for taking such amazing care of me and my cars. There's a reason I go to them, and there's a reason I will always keep going to them. If you guys like this educational video about what happened to the X5M, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.